Sedler starts off, Ve'eli Shmosh B'nei Yisrael Aboy Mitzrayma. So that lady Shiur used to say, what do you mean? Haboy Mitzrayma? They came already. Haboy Mitzrayma. He said, no. We're only in the state of coming. We did not come. We're not here. We're coming. We're here for only a while. Lo dubar, it's like they explain to us, we only here, we have no latzoit. We don't have food for the sheep, so we can't stay here. As soon as we got food, we're out of here. We're not staying here. We don't come here to live. That's the point. In other words, we didn't come to become citizens of the country. Obviously, that's from the end of the settlers, and it says the Yechasku bought it to call the land. So obviously they did become. But the idea is that the others, the Shvatim themselves, did not have that thing. And the thing, though, it's the later generations that had that thing. Okay, so Paul, and now to get this feeling, I got this feeling on the east side. It's not, you can get it in Brooklyn too. I was born in this country, so I consider myself an American, right? Whatever that means in English, right? And I go to Chinatown, right? And they are extremely rude. They don't bother even having a sign in English. They don't care for your business. You know what I mean? They deal with themselves. That's it, right? And they take over the country. It's like wherever you go, that's where they are. They're the policemen. They're the firemen. They're everything else. Hey, I belong here, not you, right? So that's how a guy felt when they felt a yid. Now, it had nothing to do. The thing that you don't belong here, you take. What do I have? I don't own anything by you. You're not taking anything from me. Why does it bother me? But it bothered me because somehow you took over, you made it like yours. And that's what bothered me. And that's what he's telling me was what happened to them is that they took over the country. Okay. Now we have a problem. There's the Medrash Rabbah, he said, I know he was a Yalkut, but it's the Medrash Rabbah also, which I find improbable. The reason why I say I find it improbable, we'll see what the Medrash Rabbah say. It says they came to Paris and they kicked them out. They told them they wanted to get rid of the Jews. They said they probably bothered them like they bothered me. Right? So they want to get rid of the Jews. Let's go to war with them. So when Paris said to them, how could you go to war with them? The only reason you're alive is because Yosef saved you. So how could you, where's Yaakov Satev? Where's anything else about you, right? So it's interesting that you say Paris had Yaakov Satev then, which is very interesting. Okay. And I'm going to bring you a raya that Targum doesn't hold like that. That's what they want to tell me. Anyway, so I said that it's improbable. Why? Because Paris owned Mitzrayim. It wasn't any point that Paris was Melech Mitzrayim because they elected him. That was before Yosef. But after Yosef, when he sold him after Vayigash, when they sold themselves in the hunger years to Paris, that's how many years before now? You're talking about, this is before the 85 years, so you're talking about, must be 210 years they were there, and this is the last 85 years was what they're doing, and before then, so they're there 100 and something years already in Mitzrayim, the Jews, right? So that means that he consolidated his malchus in 100 and something years. Not he lived a long time or not, that doesn't bother me if it's him or not. But I'm saying, but he lived a long time and he consolidated his malchus and everything else. How did he depose him? How did they get rid of him? He has an army. They'll kill him. With the Shiur. I mean, once he became the balabas, he had to have some kind of. What happened if people say, "I don't want to pay the tax, the 20%? We don't want to pay. What are you going to do about it, pal? I have an army. What did you say? What am I going to do about it?" So how did they refuse to do? So how did they depose him? That's what we shared with him. And the Torah doesn't say anywhere like that. So the Shiur is, you'll ask me, so why does Medrash Rabbah write it? That's no kasha. The Medrash is not a history book. The Medrash is a Musa book. He's telling you a thing that he wants to show you the deterioration, and we'll show it in the Chumash too, of a person who may be for you, and he'll be against you in a very short period of time. And that's what he wants us to do. It's a slope that, what they call the slippery slope. You start on the way down, and you can't stop yourself. You keep going. And that's the thing, though. What's my raya to the thing? If you look, so Rashi says, Targum says, he wasn't Mikayim, the Gzeiros of Yosef. What were the Gzeiros of Yosef? I don't know any place I look through a Chumash, no such thing as the Gzeiros of Yosef. The Gzeiros of Yosef, the land, you got to give Chumash, the Pari. So what happened was, the Pari came over to them and said, Chavar l'snachbarim. And they said to him, how can we fight with him, with the Jews? So we're living only because of them. So he says, we have none, and he said, so, but they're taking your land, they're taking everything. He says, it's not taking anything from us. We don't own anything. Oh, you don't own anything? Here, back. Now you own. Now they're taking yours. Now they made him involved in this thing there. That's for state in the Torah. So I don't know, I just say, I can't tell you, but that's what it says in Medrash Rabbah. So he wanted to do, they made this deal, and the deal was, first he got everybody to volunteer for money. I mean, everybody got paid, probably a nice salary, and then he took the next day, supposedly let the Mitzrayim go, and he kept the Yidden as avodim. Okay. So basically, he took free people and made them into slaves. Was it truly one day? I can't answer you that either. It's very fast one day, because to be able to revert to what you were yesterday is very hard to say. I can say that they tried it for a week or 2 or 3 or 4, and the Mitzrayim were let off. Meanwhile, the Yidden, and meanwhile he put in officers on top of them and these things and whatever it is, and now you're stuck. Now you're in heaven. So it happened by Gevia, in the time of Alexander, the Egyptians came and they said, I don't know exactly which Egyptians by the time of Alexander, that's talking about after Nebuchadnezzar, and after we were already wiped out all the Mitzrayim. They probably were not the Mitzrayim, were not the Mitzrayim anymore, but whatever they were there. They came and they mourned that where is the money that they borrowed from us when they left Mitzrayim. So they, it's a fast time. So Gevia, so the Chacham asked for time to just get a person to answer the questions. And Gevia, who was a hunchback guy, that must have been a Tana, because he's the one that did all the fights with the Chazal against Alexander. So he said to them, let me be the one that answers them. If I lose, so you'll say, who lost? The hunchback lost, big deal, he's a nobody, And what do you call it? If I win, so it's the Chavadig. So they let him go. So what did he say to them? He said to them, you owe us for the 210 years of work that we put in there at this and this rate, whatever they made up there, and for all the people that had to work and all the Yidden that worked, so that would have busted the whole thing there. So they ran away. And that was how he saved Yisrael. So obviously, I remember someone made a simple calculation of a couple of days of a few dollars, but a day's work. I think he did. He took minimum wage or something like that for what he called, and he times it for the years. It came into the trillions of dollars. So that's why they ran away. Okay. But the idea is they built Pis and Ramses. Now Pis and Ramses is a lotion, like I remember my brother used to use it in Yiddish as like when you talk about luxury. He's like, what do you think this is, Pis and Ramses? Like, like you expect luxury here. Because there were Solim Ishkene Sopare, royal cities. But we know that the cities kept sinking. They built on quicksand or something like that, and whenever they got it up a certain height, the city would sink to the ground. Okay. So they kept rebindling it. So this is Moshe Meir Weiss, and Vargais. So in one of his classes, he gave a good class. They say, I don't know the minig, but he said that this is the minig exists by the Yekis, that and by the Seder, they get to the word mother, they point at their wives. Now, if I did that, I get my head chopped off. So somehow, what's pshat, and so he said, but he gave a pshat, and that was the thing there. He says, how did they do the avodas perach? They made men do women's work and women do men's work. What does that mean, women's work? The chefs, right? You think cooking is a woman's job, right? Who are the greatest chefs in the world? Men, right? Let's start up with women. Men. Who are the cooks in yeshiva? Men. Let's not cook. There's no woman around. In the house, there's a woman who cooks. It's a man's job. Restaurant, it's a man. So, obviously, that's not what it means. He says the difference is, this is well, that a man does something, he wants something permanent. He wants to build something, he wants to construct something. And a woman does repetitive. Like, let's say what a woman's job is. She cleans up the house, you dirty it. She cooks food, you eat it up. You wash the dishes, you dirty them. You did the laundry, you dirty it. So she always has to do the same thing over and over and over again. And a man can't do that. You ever see a cartoon of a backfill pad, as they call it. So you always see by the sink all unwashed dishes, right? And everything else there. Why do you have such pictures? Why can't the man wash the dishes? Right? Well, Shiur used to wash the dish, by the way. And I said when he used to, my wife once asked him, like, I'll wash it. He says, the mom is, she'll see it, it'll have tzar. So you don't want to give it tzar. So you wash the dish. But anyway, but normal guy is, you pile up all the dirty dishes. All the thing, he runs out of dishes, so he starts eating without dishes. Because he can't wash dishes. He can't do repetitive work. So Pis and Ramses was repetitive work. That was the point. They had to keep building. They didn't have it. They're putting the kefes. Finally built something and back down to nothing. You're going to start all over. And that's in there. So what he's saying to the wife is that you have what you do is to me mother. No, not I'm calling you the mother, but that what the work that you do is mother to me. Okay, he's not a Yekis. He didn't have to get away with it. So I don't. Yeah. And then Yavidi Mitzayis Meisel B'Fach. That's really It's interesting. The only two nations, four nations. Ammon and Moav is excluded from Klal Yisrael, even when they become Gerim, because they're not Makir Tov. And Edom and Mitzrayim are out for 3 days as an essay. What did they do wrong? So Edom is Achar B'Chatechia. You're a murderer. So a murderer could get that out of the system. It's a genetics. I learned from there that genetic of midas is either comes into Klal Yisrael with you. So therefore they try to get out before it comes into Klal Yisrael. So if you figure you live according to the Torah for 3 days, with the Torah, so you got out of your system, you're being Rotzeach and stuff like that. Okay, fine, if you want to learn it. But what did the Mitzrayim do? So I think the Mitzrayim was cruel. They didn't do anything specific more than, let's say, killing people. They didn't actually kill. But they enjoyed making tzoros for the Yidden. It was a question of how you do the work. I want you to suffer when you work and you're doing the thing. It's not enough that you're doing hard work, but I want it to be hard that you feel it and stuff like that. That's what he said. And that was the bottom. So, so here, again, going with that slippery slope business, so originally he was like for keeping the Yidden. I mean, he was against the Yidden, right? But only a little bit, just make him tzoros, let's a thing there. We have to protect ourselves against them. And then he started making favodim, and then he decided he wants to kill him. Why does he want to kill him? Because he heard it's going to be, the Melech Mashiach is going to be a Yid. Okay, so what did he do? He calls in the Mialdis, and he's still a law-abiding citizen. He doesn't want to kill and doesn't want to do abortions, right? And what he's talking about here is a full-term abortion, you want to call it. You're going to kill the kid before the head comes out. That's Risam Alov Noim. That's why it's important that the point is Risam Alov Noim. That you see before the head, when it's coming to come out, if you see the hair, then you know it's a boy. If you see the nose, you know it's a girl. So therefore, you know you can kill them before the forehead. Once the forehead comes out, the kid's born. So you can't kill him anymore. So he wasn't asking them to do murder. He was asking them to do abortion. So why don't you do it yourself? What do you need the Jews for? Right? Because a guy that does abortion is chayiv misa. A Yid that does abortion is not chayiv misa. That's the difference. He's only able nisur of the sicha, but it's not. He's not chayiv misa for it. So he was trying to be law-abiding. I can't do it. I'm asking you to do it because you're not chayiv misa for it. Okay, so that's what he does. Now, the doctors don't admit to this for several reasons. First of all, they turned the baby. And I asked this to doctors, Rashi says that Chazal say it's emes, and I'll tell you in a minute that it's emes for sure. I had an anicle that was born in the house, and no doctor. It was Friday night, and the one delivering it was my daughter to my daughter-in-law, and what he called the next neighbor, and the kid shut out, head down. Okay. So what do you call? They all give birth. They turn the baby to face head up, for whatever reason they don't know, and therefore the doctors don't know which baby they're turning. Because you have to remember, I only turn boys. Isn't that funny? All the girls are down. I don't know if the guy ever even thinks about it. He used to always ask them what's happening. They usually tell you it's yesh v'yesh. No, yesh v'yesh. What's the normal thing? So you can't get a straight answer from them. But I'm telling you, the kid's born face down. What he called. And he talked to them, and he told them to kill the boy, and he asked, and then they didn't listen. But the Chayena say, Rodim says, not only that they let him live, they fed them, and they did them the Chayena, they gave him life. Okay, so he came and asked them, why are you doing this? So for that, what's the excuse for that? Maybe you didn't kill him. The kid's born already. He said, yeah, but not, once they're born, you got to act like normal people. If the kid's born, you don't feel, you don't feel nothing there. Of course you do this thing there. In Kozman, he's not born yet. No, we can do anything. We can sneak it in. We can do anything. But once the kid's born, we got to act normal. So he calls, okay, right. Now here's Rashi says, like we have a Rashi like this once before by Lavan, but it's the same idea. What's he say? He says, what kind of hatova did God do to the Yaldis? Says Vayitav Eitav lehem ezechol, whatever it is, where's he go? Yashalem botim Vayitav lehem Yaldis Mahu hatovos. What are the good things that he did? Vayashalem botim. He made houses for them. He made Bati Kihune, Bati Levi, Bati Malchus, whatever it is. Finds great. That's not what it says in the Torah. So let's see what it states. Vayitav Elokim Yaldis Vayirev Hom Vayatz Moed. What was the hatova? The nation became big. That was the hatova. Right? That's what it says. That's the posting. Vayirav Elokim Yaldis Vayirev. How is that a hatova? Right? That's the Kashias. That's the nation. What's got to do with them? What is the biggest hatzlocha that a person wants for himself? I asked this to the kids. I said this over this week to them. We would say for the knocking tennis. I asked them if somebody would tell you, Baruch Hashem, and learning and everything else, and they said, you know, you're such a great Talmud Chacham, you can be the greatest Rosh Yeshiva in the world, and you will be, but one tonight. You're going to only eat bread and water. That's it for the rest of your life. Would you take the job or not? I think we said, of course, right? They said, so what is the biggest that you feel that hatova was done to you? That whatever you wanted, that was McQueen. That's the biggest hatova. I said, we saw it by Goyim even. When I was in school, was Dr. Schweitzer. I don't know if you guys heard of Dr. Schweitzer. But then there was Mother Teresa. She lived with lepers. What did she do with the lepers? She cured them, or she tried to cure them, or whatever she did, right? But she obviously has no friends, no nothing, and she's living with lepers. Why are you doing that? Because I feel I'm doing something, right? So for that, you give up your life. You give up Olam Hazeh for that. That's because that is the biggest Olam Hazeh you can have, is you are being successful in what you want to do. The same thing happened to Dr. Schweitzer. Okay, he lived in Africa with lepers also. Okay, so that's the biggest hatzlocha. Vayihi ki Yaldis Elokim, but they also had Yira Shemayim. Then Vayashlem button. For that, I threw in a bonus. You'll make your button on the thing over there. But they're two separate things. It has nothing to do one with the other. Okay. We said the same things by Lover. Right. Okay. And then there came the one day that today's the day. Everybody dies. So he didn't take a chance on that one. So you see that from being a nice, from wanting to make it hard for them and to kill them, and actually kill them and kill everybody, even Mitzrayim, it just takes steps to get there. But it's not something that can't get there. You get there. Okay. So now we're going into the Yale Fisher Base Levi, Now, is anonymous. You want to know who this father was? I can tell you. His father's name was Amram. His mother's name was Yocheved. You know, what are you going to just say who it is? And what you would save by doing that is in Parshas Va'era, you can have about 9 psukim or something. There is that just to get the yichus, Eilo Rashi Beis Avoisam, I think Rashi says over there that the only reason it mentions it is because it wants to bring the yichus of Amram and Aaron. Right? Yimei Yisrael, Mitoich Shehuchzak Alichem Shevet Shel Levi Ad Moshe v'Aaron Bishvil Moshe v'Aaron, because of Moshe and Aaron. So therefore we had to go through the whole thing. So you're not going to think that those are extra psukim. A pasuk in the Torah is who knows what. A word in the Torah is who knows what. So you're going to make all these extra psukim. So the Yeshiva said this way. Right now, when he was born, they saw ki tvatar, they saw ki toiv, the house lit up, whatever it is. This kid, this is the kid, right? Nothing to brag about. What are you bragging out? I got a smart kid. He was born that way. It has nothing to do with you. So what do you think? That's the point. In other words, there's nothing to brag about yet. Over there, when he's appointed Mashiach Hashem, now you can you say, you know, that's my kid. You know, now you did something. You made him from this potential to the Lemaisa. So then now you can do it. So it's the point of bragging rights. It's what you did, not what you got, what God did for you. Okay. But he was a 6-month baby, so therefore on that day, that whatever it was, he was born on that day, but they didn't expect him to be born on that day, right? Now, did they know for sure? They think that they kept kids. So much, but they kept killing. As long as they had a chash that the kid was born on that day, then they would kill him. So if they see a 3-month baby, now it was exactly 3 months, maybe 3 months minus 2 days. It's not that day, baby. Close enough for me, you know. So they would have killed him anyway. So she couldn't hide him anymore. Because now they expect him to be born, so they're coming to the house and ask him, where's the kid? So what are you going to tell him? So again, what's the answer? Where's the kid? So you have to say, he was an Eiffel. I buried him. You have to show him some kind of what do you call it? Some kind of grave over there, that this the baby's here. Something like that. I know it doesn't tell you these stories, but I assume that's what they had to do. And what does she do with the live one? She puts him into a box and puts him into the reeds. And Miriam was standing over there to find out what's going to happen with this kid. What's the problem? She just got shot in the head by her father because she was snabe. First of all, she got her father to go back to have kids. You know, when she told him that you're making, because he divorced Chavid, and all of Klal Yisrael followed him. He was the Gadol Adar. So because of that, she said to him, "You're worse than Pari. Pari only made Xer on the boys. You made Xer on the girls. So nobody's going to be born. So therefore, it's a terrible thing." So he took back his wife, and she told him that she was never Nevi, or they knew she was Nevi, or whatever it is, because he asked her, what's going to be with your Nevuah now, something like that. But anyway, when you put it down, so therefore, but she knew she was a Nevuah, whatever it is. I guess when you're Nevi, there's no doubt, at least to you, that God is speaking to you. What other people may believe you or not, that's another story, but you have no doubt who's talking, okay? So she goes and she puts, so she went to stay there, find out what's going to happen. It's a low and clothes. I think the whole story, the Torah is Marach on it for one simple reason, to teach us again that Yeshua says Hashem Keharafayim, and whatever you think is bad is not only is not bad, not only is it not bad, it's good. It's Gamzul Teva. What happened over here? So Bas Pari went to the Megaya that day, whatever Pshat is in that, and she was on the thing there, and she sees the sparks, this table floating over there. Right? Tishlach is Hamosa, where they put her hand. That's the Aviyot was given her husband and his mother like that. In other words, Hamosa could be her hand, or it could also be her shifcha. So shifcha is pashut. I got to find out what's in the box, you know. But you put out the hand. Like, why are you putting out the hand? The Gemara says it was 60 amas that the hand grew. That the hand there was. How do you put out the hand? You crazy? I mean, it's over there. Why are you putting out the hand like that? But you do what you have to do. The Rebbeinu does right there. That's not up to you already. But the idea is, you try to do something for what you want to do. You see your real intention by that you lean forward. It's something you did. Okay. And she got the thing. She opened it up. She sees it's a kid crying, and she has rachmanis, and she says he's a Jewish kid, and she's Bas Pari. Okay. She wanted to become a Jew. Is that why she has rachmanis on a Jewish kid? What's religion got to do with the people? You know, the people that don't like Jews, you know, with the different things. But I like the religion. I like what they're talking about. Levos, that she knew that her father will not throw her out because she took in a Jewish kid. That was, I got my father tied around my finger, a little pinky, whatever it is stuff. Okay. And she said, so what happened? So she started trying to get somebody to take care of the baby. Someone has to feed the baby. Nope. So she tried to get mitzvahs, that baby, the wet nurses, as they call them, and he couldn't get one. He wouldn't drink from a goy. So she said, let me get a woman from the Jews to be his nurse. And who did she get? She got a mother, who is the mother of the kid, who's now getting her paid for feeding her own kid. So that's where it comes with the table. I mean, you got more than what you had. Not only you get your kid back, but you're also getting paid for it. I mean, that's a pretty big thing. Now, I say this is a joke, but it may not be a joke. Okay. We all know the big debate, should my wife work and then I get a full-time babysitter? And, right? And the babysitter will be dedicated to the baby, right? Oh, but she doesn't have the love of a mother, right? Or should I rather have the mother there who loves the baby, but she hasn't got any time for the baby? What do you mean she hasn't got the time for the baby? She's not going to work, isn't it? So her husband there could make food for him. The neighbor, the woman in the neighborhood decides she'd be good for Bika Chaylim, President of Bika Chaylim, the PTA, whatever things can we dump on her because she's not working, we're all working, right? So obviously she'd be working harder than any other lady there because she's not working. So obviously what are you drain that cup for? You know, of course she's doing a thing, a little voice. I had look. But Moshe Rabbeinu had his own mother who loved him, worked. So if Amram came to say to her, can you make lunch? She said, I'm working for Basi. I can't make your lunch anymore, I'm working. Again, just a thing there. So she dedicated her whole time. That's how you get a Moshe Rabbeinu. You have the love and the dedication. At one time, that's the thing. So you only have one like that, Moshe. This is only B'Shas nursing. Huh? She only had him B'Shas nursing. The shaila is the 2 years she had him. The question is, how did he have that effect? Now, obviously, he's a smart kid. 2-year-old kids are pretty smart. They know already how to talk, right? They know there's certain constant. If you watch from them, they know. You think they are watching. I mean, it's only 1-year-old. I have one in the house, and what do you call it? He can recognize. He try to fool him. He happens to like from Dairy Palace. He likes the ziti in sauce. You know that? No, I don't know ziti in sauce. So sometimes they don't have it. But they have regular ziti, cheese and elbows, whatever, elbows or the ziti. So he pours some tomato sauce on it, something like that, throws it away. You try to put in a different type of a laksh, he throws it away. He knows this is not what I want. I want the other stuff. You think that, so you think that. So a little kid is pretty smart. So Moshe Rabbeinu, did he learn anything before he went to Paro's house? Probably a lot. And did she have a shaykhis to him afterwards? Maybe. You have a lot of the women take care of babies, pass by the kid and say, I came to see the baby, I took care of him for all the years, I want to see what he looks like, and stuff like that, and teaches him and stuff like that. So you never know. But obviously he was brought up in the palace. Now, the reason that he's brought up in the palace is interesting. I don't know who actually says it. Remember Rabbi Leitcher used to say it, but he had a marker for it. That the kashi was, why you don't know about the egel. Why did they make an egel? Why did they take Aaron? Right? So the joke is that a cow from the Viking is better than Egen Aaron. That, from the far you don't know who he is. So you listen to what they tell you. Oh, you're going oilam. Right? That stupid idiot, the cow. Right? Aber an Egen, I know he's a goyin. Aber, he used to jump on the benches when he was 2 years old. So I don't say to build a kid for me. So you're throwing away an Egen Aaron. So to avoid this type of criticism on Moshe, he's going to be the leader, he wasn't brought up by them. He was brought up by Pari as a king. He was Melech Kush according to the Medrash, then he was for 40 years. So he really was a Melech his whole life. And therefore you saw Malchus in him. That was pointed at. Okay. Then Vayi Vayomeim Vayigdal Moshe Vayesa Lechav. He went out to his brothers. So normally we went out to the Yidden, and he saw the mitzvah being up his Jew for brothers. So he had the Sachmanis. He kills the mitzvah. The Ibn Ezra says Echav HaMitzrim. He went out with the Mitzrim, to hang out with the Mitzrim, but his Rachmanis didn't. When he saw God Mitzri being up in his Yid, he couldn't take it. What was the svara? This is my tale already. This Ibn Ezra doesn't say anything. Moshe is being brought up at Paro's house because he knows Mashiach Hashem. Obviously, he doesn't know about it until God comes to him. Whatever it is, did his sister ever tell him? I don't know. If she did, he may have always thought about she's dreaming or whatever it is. It has nothing to do with it. So he's being brought up in Beis Pari as a Mitzri. He knows he's a Jew because he knows Aaron's his brother. But on the other hand, his mother is Bas Pari, whatever it is. Do you know his real mother? I can't answer that. I don't know. Okay. So his plan was, he knows that he's a Jew, that Mirza Hashem, when he becomes Pari, He goes, you know, who's in competition? I'm in competition. Why are you in competition? You're a son. Yeah, I'm a son. I'm adopted son. I'm a son. So he doesn't know any difference. And against Pari, who's smarter, me or Pari? Right? So I'm going to be the Pari in the end. Right? So therefore, at that time, I'll free the Yidden. So that was his plan. So obviously, that's not God's plan. So when he went out to see his brothers, he couldn't control himself. You know, he saw him getting beat up, you know. And this Mitzri was Dosan is Shlemus Vastuvi's husband. And this is the Mitzri that is the Ben Ish Mitzri that we're going to have later on. And the thing here is this Mitzri's son. What was the point? And this, I think, is the pshat in the. You have we know that the Lashon Gemara uses always that when the Mem Tesh Shari Tumah, right? Now, what does that mean? Mem Tesh Shari Tumah. What in Mizane? So Rashi says Meferish, the only woman that was ever a Taina on was Shlomo Parshas. So obviously they were not Mizane. So we're only in the Mem Ches Shari Tumah, right? Were we murderers? No, we're murderers. So when the Mem Zayin Shari Tumah, why are you saying Mem Tesh Shari Tumah? So I think the answer is, if you go through that, they don't in any tumah. But they handled it without a Messiah. They handled it, each one made his own decision how to handle the problem. So I don't know if she was a pretty woman or not. I assume she was a pretty woman, right? So what happened? So let's say the Mitzri, they're building something, the hard section. So we all know, in America the jokes are where who makes the whistles and everything at the pretty girl that walks by. A hard hat section, right? You know, all the things there, they make all kind of crazy statements and the vicious statements and stuff like that. And so far she gets insulted, the woman, or gets embarrassed, however you want to put it. So what do? How do you handle this problem? So normally I don't go out of my house. I go the other way. I go something. So something I'll figure out a method of getting out of it. The Shlemus also figured out a method. I'll become their friend. So she brought him out coffee the next day and said, "Hi boys, can I go a cup of coffee?" And of course everyone took the coffee, and they figured, why is she coming? Because she must have been trying to do what do you call it? He's interested in us. And therefore he made all these tricks and stuff. He got more interested in us. And that's what caused it. That's what the Taina was in it. So we were in the Mem Tesh Shari Tumah only because we got into more problems, because trying to solve our own problems without having a Messiah of how to solve it. But we knew what was right and wrong. That we knew. But how to solve it, we didn't know. Anyway, so the next day he sees Nos and Afrim fighting themselves, and he says to the Rosh, so you see a guy, first of all, lifts his hand to hit somebody, he's called a Rosh. That's the point that we have to remember. And that sometimes is also the Rosh Yeshiva gave me warning many, many years ago. There was a Bacher Yeshiva, he was a Nodum Gadol now, Mamish Nodum Gadol. Who his parents got divorced or something. He was a down. He was obviously not in a happy time. And somebody chepered him, and he picked up, we had that metal double deckers. He picked up, it was a metal piece that connected the thing there, and he picked it up like the whole way. He wasn't going to hit anybody with it, but but the anger was, well, I'm going to get you, something like that. And the thing, he came, a Maisa came to Shidduchim for him. So I remember, Gurshon remembered the Maisa. And he says he has a case of Kaisa. I don't know, I never saw the Kasim. I used to Rosh Shiur at that time. Rosh Shiva said that's not a case. We don't know what the breaking point of a person is. That means there's always going to be a time when someone is not going to act the way he's supposed to act. That make it a person, or is it just a situation that happens that makes it? So therefore, you have to be, if it only happened once, and he's in yeshiva many years after that, nothing ever happened again, then he's not a case. Then that has nothing to do with him. It just happened to be once he got angry. How do I know what I would do on the once? Normally I don't get angry. But the one time you get my goat, then I'll get angry. So at that time you don't know how I'll react. That's not called reacting. That's the point. That was a big lesson I learned. Okay. Anyway, your Pari was not happy about this, and he wanted to kill Moshe. And of course they caught him, they broke the sword on his neck, and all the other stories that go with it. And Moshe ran away, and he becomes the king of Cush for 40 years. And it is really, we leave out all those years. We find him back 50 years later, and he's 20 years old when he ran away. He comes back 60 years later in time. So what happened those 60 years? It seems from here he landed up in Midian right away, and when he got married in 60 years, he should have 58 kids already, or something like that. No such story. Okay? Anyway, so the story in the Medrash is that the law that they made, I don't know, it took them 40 years to come to that law, so I don't know what they did before he had to run away. If the law is that the new king must marry the old king's wife, he had 40 years to do that. So how come he got away with it for 40 years? Then all of a sudden he was stuck, he had to marry her. And they said he ran away, but he ran away. But that's the mice, he ran away. He got involved with Bilam and the whole thing. It was all gone to Medrashim. Bilam was attacking the city, he was in the city, and he saved the city, and therefore became the Melech and the whole thing. Okay. So he lands up here, he went to what clothes did he put on? I guess he didn't have any other clothes. He ran away, he was wearing Mitzri clothes, right? And then he put them away somewhere, and he was wearing Cush clothes, right? But now he's not the king anymore, he only had fancy clothes. So he had to put on the old Mitzri clothes. He ended up Mitzri clothes, and he went to Midian, and he was, what he called, okay. And he saves the daughters of Yisrael, who became already a ger before, even though he doesn't ati yadati is after he comes to the midbar, right? That is thing Dalton. But he became a ger, understanding that there's a God, and what he called, he didn't understand midi connected midi yet. That's what the problem. That's why it's ati yadati. By after Moshe Rabbeinu tells him about Yitzis Mitzrayim and everything else. But as far as knowing that what truth is, that he knew already in Midian, he became a ger, and that's why they kicked him out from being Kohen Midian. I guess they never replaced him, so he can't be called Kohen Midian, but he was there. And what he called, and he went out. So they told him, so he got angry, and I kept saying, he asked his daughters, what are you guys nuts? Where is he? I mean, the guy saved you, you don't invite him even for lunch. And he went, you should go in. Okay, so, and then obviously he wanted to get rid of one. He got 7 daughters, so you're going to check on any way you can get one rid of one, I'll take one. And he marries Shipayra. Okay, Gershon, and this is important here. God doesn't tell you the name of Eliezer. That's first in Yisrael. They tell you the name of Eliezer, and the name of Eliezer Yatzileni Michel Pari. So she again asked, why shouldn't you first give Shvach the Yatzileni Michel Pari, and then you give the Shvach that Be'etzlo Nochriya, right? First I was saved. Now in the second one, I was living in a foreign land. Right? He says, no. He says, unless there's no reason to give thanks for Pari, for being saved from poverty unless you realize you're in a foreign land. If you think I'm an American, it didn't pay to be saved. It didn't make a difference there. So the people have to be saved. When it was saved from the Hitler and Chumash Shiur and all these things, so they came here, you have to know that that I was saved because I'm a Yid. I'm not an American. And I think that's not my purpose in life, to be an American. Okay. Then the Vein Shalom, here's the interesting things of life. Life works like this in many, many ways. Tefillah and other things, it doesn't make a difference. When you deal with God, there's different midas a person has. And Moshe Rabbeinu was a tznuah, whatever that means, an onav, tznuah, whatever it is. He can't stare at something that he knows that's not right. The curiosity doesn't overcome the ability to hide from something. So the Moshe wanted to tell him, to explain to him, before he wants him to get to work for him, to go be paid the Klal Yisrael. So I want to tell you who I am, right? Moshe didn't want to look, didn't want to see, didn't want to know. Why? Because he was a tznuah. So later on, when Moshe Rabbeinu says, "Show me your covet," so then he should have said, when I wanted, you didn't want. Now you want, I don't want. So whatever it means the pshat is, for whatever reason, that time was the Shas HaKosher. You couldn't do it then, right? And for that sneeze, you gained, I don't know what the Gemara gives that he gained because of that sneeze. But he lost the Yediyas Hashem. So it's a thing that everything is like that. You know, when she's bekabel your tefillah, she gives you something, but may not be good for you. But you wanted it, so I gave it to you. So anyway, so he tells him, I want you to go and redeem Klal Yisrael. Okay. And I'm going to take it out to soil. So first of all, he understood his shlichus is a very simple shlichus. V'ata l'chove, go, v'shlochacha Paro, I'll send you to Paro. V'hoit says, v'mi b'nei Yisrael, and you'll take out the Yidden from Mitzrayim. So he thought he just got to go to Paro and say, hey, Paro, let my people go, and Paro's going to say, fine. And there was no problem. That's why all of a sudden it didn't work out. And in the end of Vayera, and the beginning of Vayera, he says to him, I want you to go and take my people out. Now it's a different story. I want you to figure out how to get them out, how to talk to them. And that's the lashon that he uses over there. You take them out. Not I'm taking them out. You take them out. Well, now you got to be a different way. I'm giving you power that he did. He gave him the kefas to make the not the body go. But it's your choices. You run the makis the way you want to run the makis. You want it to stop, it stops. You want it to go, it goes. Okay, so that was it. And the Ben Shalom, he's getting the final word. Moshe lost the Kuna Gedolah. It's the whole machlekes. It says the Benshim got angry at Moshe in the end. It says, "Vayicharaf Hashem b'Moshe." Got angry. So one of the Mandiyama in the Gemara says that here's a place where Benshim got angry. Whoever says Vayicharaf in the Torah is always, you see what happened because of it. And here's one place you don't see what happened with it. And the other guy says, no, so he lost the Kuna Gedolah. Why should he lost the Kuna Gedolah? What did he see he lost the Kuna Gedolah? Because he says to him, your brother Aharon Halevi is coming and he'll be happy. What was he afraid? What was Moshe afraid of? Moshe was afraid of that Aharon's going to be insulted, right? he's the Navi, Mitzrayim, he's the big man, and all of a sudden his younger brother becomes the Mashiach Hashem. Like, what happened to me? Well, why you pass over me? So the Benishim says, so Benishim get angry, but what happened? Why did he think that way? Because he's very sensitive to his brother's feelings, right? Very nice, sounds very good. The Benishim says that you don't know Aaron. You can't be the Kohen Gadol. What's the point of a Kohen Gadol? Oyhev Shalom, Oyhev Shalom. Whatever the stories of the Gemara was, I say, whatever the case that's brought down and there, it sounds very strange that's the story. That's how you make peace. But anyway, I can imagine this way of making peace. That I see a guy who's in Tsar, I say, what's going on? What's happening? Why are you so sad? I say, well, I just had a fight with my best friend, and what he thought, and I said these terrible things to him, and what he thought. And he said nothing. Oh yeah, he said this, but I said this and this to him, and I feel bad about it. So you were sorry about what you said? Yeah. Okay. Goes to his friend and he says, your friend said this and this about you, and he's sorry he said it. And he says, oh, he said that. You know what I said to him? And I'm sorry too. Now, if two guys want to make shalom, I mean, the way the story that it's in the Celsus Katanis, is that he went to one guy and he would tell him a lie. The guy wants to apologize to you, and he wants to meet you over there. Then he went to the other guy and says the other guy wants the thing there. So each guy is coming expecting the other guy is going to apologize to him, right? So what's the first thing? So they both get there, and one guy says to the other one, the father standing there quietly. So what's the thing? Do you have something to say to me? He says, I have something to say to you. Don't you have something to say to me? And they ever fight again. So let's that cup. That ain't the way it works. The way I described it, it could happen. You understand? But whatever it is, you felt that Moshe feels so bad. Aaron feels so bad that you can't be mefuyas. So now you can't be neiv shalom v'leiv shalom. That guy comes over to you and says, "Go do me a favor. Ask the end to be meichel me. What did he do to you that you want me to ask him for?" Well, he stole my business. He stole my wife. He took my kid off the derech. And how am I going to ask him to forgive you, right? So you can't be. Tell the Tachan, oh, that's all? We'll take care of it and then anything else. And that's the way that. So the fact that you thought that way, that you can't, he couldn't possibly forgive you, or something like that, then you can't be a neiv shalom. You wouldn't ask for these impossible things. That's why he's not naked. You know, saying this. It means you're the wrong guy. That's all it meant. So we went with Aaron, even though he made the Egel, he made this because he's the Eiv Shalom. He's the guy got to be the Kohen Gadol. You know what else could be? I can't. And have a good Shabbos, everybody. Have a good Shiur, and be well.